mute myself, but we're going to go ahead and get started with this, you guys. So, Marissa, you're first on my screen. So I'm going to choose you quickly to just introduce yourself and tell us like how long you've been a coach.
Awesome. I'm Marissa Ryder, and I started coaching in November of 2020. After COVID threw me for a huge loop, I lost my job a year ago today, and running a fitness kickboxing program, and then I like quickly just dove back into bad habits. So I reached out to Meg in November, and then the rest is history.
That's insane. All right, Molly.
Hi, I'm Molly Bestie, and I have also been coaching since November. I am Marissa's sister, and in a younger sister fashion, whatever she does, I like to do too. So truly, when she said, I'm doing this thing, I said, I'll be your first customer. And so she signed me up as a coach, and I didn't really know what I didn't really know how in I was going to be. But I did. I went diamond the next month. And I guess we'll talk more about that, how that happened.
Yeah, you guys, what I love about that is like we all start you off, right? And we're like, use the U+2 rule, invite your best friend, invite your family. Like this is a prime example of why that is. I mean, I was a U+2 for somebody. So when you think of that, it's insane, right? And I had said I never wanted to coach. Luckily, it's super cool that her sister was like, yeah, I'll do this with you. So you never know what the answer is going to be, and you never know where it's going to end up. But it's always so important to do that. Tara, I think you're next in line on my screen. So we'll do you.
I started Beachbody June 2020. And I started coaching. I think my first day was like January 11th of this year. And I hit diamond the first week of March. I kind of just decided like, I'm doing this, I may as well also make some money. And that's kind of that. And we'll get more into it.
I love that. And then Paula.
So I started my Beachbody journey almost exactly a year ago. I signed up as a discount coach. No, Mama. Sorry, my kids.
No, I love it.
And I've like played around with coaching for a little bit, and then I really dove into it when we did the 1K group and hit diamond the second to the last week in February.
Okay, cool. So, you look at that. They've all been a coach for less than a year. Most of them, though, just told you that it was a decision to go diamond, that they just decided, like, okay, I want to work my business. I'm going to run my business, so I'm going to do it. So I'm going to have you each like tell me a little bit about how you got there, how you got to diamond, like what you were doing and the things that you were doing to get there. And you guys, guess what? If you repeat something else that somebody said, I don't care. I just want to know what you did, because here's the thing: the business is duplicatable, and sometimes there will and should be overlap, but also everybody has differences too. So just kind of talk me through that journey of like, I made the decision and then this is what I did and this is what's working for me. So again, we'll just start with Marissa right at the top because that's where you're at.
Okay, I'll try to be succinct. So I made the decision, and I was really kind of like, I don't really know what I'm going to do. And Meg was she was awesome. So she was very much like, okay, why don't you just start with the challenge group? You just got to be proof of the product. Let's read a book, let's do some professional development every day. And so we did that for about a week, and I was just like, okay, yeah, this is awesome. And then she challenged us in our little challenge group to go and make our first post about what we were doing, just kind of announce it to social media world, which I was like notorious. I'm not a social media person. I love to stalk but I never post. I always think like, before this, I was always thinking about everything that I would say, and I would never post anything. So that was huge for me. And I did that, and I got like 140 likes on this post of just taking back control and, all these things. And then Meg was like, okay, now make a list and now message everybody. And I was like, all 147 people. And she's like, yep. And I'm like, the dudes? And she's like, well, you don't have to do the dudes. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So I went through and I did what she told me to do. And And yeah, just started. So from then, that was really, I think I was reading, I also started reading Fear is My Homeboy. That was what, based on what I said I wanted to grow in, that was a recommendation she gave me. And if you guys haven't read it, it's an amazing book. And the podcast is incredible. And it was just one of those things where I was like, okay, yes, yes, okay, yes, yes. I just kept saying yes to everything she was telling me to do. Quickly got into the group and at the bat, and was just kind of trying to do all of the things and not get totally overwhelmed, and just reaching out to everybody that I knew, making my list of 100 people. And, not really overthinking it, but just trying to do what Meg was sharing, Joan, you were sharing, everybody in the group was sharing, all the professional, I was diving in on the National Wake Up Call. I went all in on that 1K club, and just tried to absorb everything and just kind of get a little better every day, and just keep showing up, and just continue to like hone what I'm doing and not let myself talk myself out of when it started to feel hard, or when it started to like, no, I don't want to make new friends on Facebook. And I was like, okay, no, I've got to make new friends on Facebook, because I've literally gone through all of my lists. Like, so now I've got to like make new connections. So just starting to really follow what everybody was suggesting and saying, and trying to find my own voice within that, and the way that it works for me. So and yeah, we have like 50 people in our group right now, our challenge group. So it's kind of like, I think I have like 35 people in that group right now alone. Not everybody is a coach or on a challenge pack, but just really also trying to like make that live and feel really amazing, and just kind of build it, that concept of if you build it, it will come. So yeah, just and doing what you guys are suggesting every single day and trying to get a little better at it.
I did not plant these answers, by the way. They're just saying whatever that comes to mind. I'm just gonna let you guys jump in. I'm not gonna sit here and call on you. You're leaders just like we are. You're diamonds. So whoever wants to go next, go for it.
I'll go. So as Marissa's sister, she started a little bit earlier than me. So it was, I think, a little bit easier to know that we were doing this together. When we started our bod group, we were starting with bod groups, right? So we didn't have to really shift focus from Facebook groups to bod groups. It was just starting with this new thing and learning this new platform. And I too, I think I would just literally would do everything Meg told her to do, like maybe a week later. So she was kind of coaching me on what Meg was coaching her on. So it was great for her, I think, to also practice like coaching me. But I think being coachable is key, and listening to every single team call, because there's always a nugget or two that I would literally like apply the next day, or in that moment. You would tell me something and I'd say, okay, while I'm listening, I'm going to try this right now as we speak on Facebook. I think I too started with my husband, signing him up. That I think that was key to me going diamond. The next key was actually signing up my mother. So the U+2 were family members to me. And I think learning that too, and just kind of understanding right away that when you share, if you want to make money in this business, the two people closest to you, you kind of want to get the U+2 to be those two people closest to you, and have those accounts, be a little bit more in your control, was kind of mind blowing, but also made it a lot easier to go diamond. Started with my hot list, my friends, but I'll tell you, not all of my closest friends have signed up. I wish they would, but they're the ones who are like, oh, I've got my own thing going. I'm still doing this, or I've got a Peloton. Like, good for you. That's great. I wish you'd do this with me, but maybe later, and I'm realizing now a lot of the invites are, it's kind of planting the seed, because people who have said no, I'm already experiencing that like a few months ago. Like, no doesn't mean no forever. It means maybe not right now. So the consistency that you're constantly talking about, like, keep going back to those people, keep asking. Even the ones who are throwing up objections are also curious. They want to know more. So I think for me, the biggest things have been just the kind of the simplest things. The workouts aren't the hard part. the posting is the hard part. But it's not that I am doing it in my authentic voice. It just takes time. I still have a full-time job. I still have, 2 kids. I'm sure many of you do have this as well. It's making the time. So I'm trying right now to get better at automating things like the coaching posts in our bod group using the scheduling tool. Not being afraid to kind of recycle and retool some of the things I've posted before, but in take a new spin on it. So kind of theming out my week in a way. I don't want it to be boring. I just kind of need to save myself some time. So I am trying to do a little bit more automating, but while living in the moment and being authentic to what is happening in my life and sharing my story. I've also been really vulnerable. I'm sharing things that I kept secret for my entire life, like disordered eating. That was something I hid. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing about that, right? Is that you hide that and you pretend you're okay and that you're normal. So but Beachbody really did change that for me. So sharing that those are the things people say. Thank you for talking about anxiety. Thank you for talking about disordered eating. So the real stuff is what people, I think, are attracted to. And I'll pause there and let someone else go.
So I'll kind of like take off from there. So I work in a salon, and I find that like I can say something if I have like a personal relationship with someone. I can tell them almost whatever. But for some reason, posting to the world was like, they can screenshot that and send that to their group chats. I'm not doing that. So I actually found that once I started doing that, I had a lot more people being like, wow, like I can totally relate to where you're at in your life. I can feel it. Like, I know where you are. You're so inspiring. Keep posting. Like, I need this. I need to see these things. And also, I will kind of like rewind a little bit. And when I kind of dove into coaching, I really had no idea what I was doing or what I needed to do or what I was even like going for. What are my goals? I have no idea. Like, I just kind of decided, like, I talk to people anyways about it. I should just help them get signed up. And then Paula actually sent me a couple of visuals of like, the emerald with the 2 coaches underneath you, and then the diamond and how to get there, which I'm a visual learner, so that drove me anyways. And I also got thrown into the 1K group, and again, had no idea what was going on. I had a call with Chris 6 days after I started coaching, so that was kind of insane, and I really felt bad because I felt like I was wasting his time because I still had no idea what I was doing. But I kind of really watched that 1K group, and I tried to attend as many power hours as I could. And we also did have the sale during my first couple of months. So I now am struggling. I'm at the point where I'm trying to use social, and I'm trying to find new friends and make connections and do all of that stuff. So that's my next goal. But otherwise, I mean, you just have to post real life things. Like, I post about my daughter's tantrums, and people are like, girl, I feel you. And that right there is a conversation to lead to more things. Like, I cope with it. Like, she knows I need to go downstairs and do my workout in the morning. She knows. And she'll be like, Mama, how's workout? Like, it was great. We both needed it. So people can relate to that. Anyways, I'll let Paul, I think it's your turn.
So for me, it was a little bit of competitiveness, writing down my goal and really like focusing on what it was that I wanted to do with this business. Did I want to be successful, or did I just kind of want to ride it out? Being put in the 1K group really showed me like what the potential is out there, and that really drove me to want to dive into it and just really go all in. Are you saying peekaboo? And then for my success, I think mostly it's been consistency, showing up every day, posting, reaching out, making connections, just all the basic things, and giving people their time, like reaching out and then like following up, but not being like too overbearing for them. Because I actually had a few people say, thank you for reaching out, but giving me my time to decide that when I was ready. So those have been what I've seen to be successful for myself.
I see that question that you wrote down there, Mariah, about the day-to-day work time. That one I'm really working on right now, consistently, personally. Like, so I'm definitely trying to just do the 5 before bed rule, and that's my bare minimum goal every day. There, like in the beginning when it was like really exciting and I had this huge hot list of people, it was really exciting. And I mean, I was hitting like notebook page, I don't know numbers necessarily, but like full notebook pages of people every day. And that was really exciting. And the momentum was like just fueling that. And I just would do that day in, day out and just like follow up. And then I kind of, that list dried for me. And then I had to really, then it was like crickets and chirping, you know, and I was like, oh, now I really have to do the work of like expanding and making those new connections. Cause for the first like 2 months, I really just worked from my lists, my like current. And so now that I'm in that phase of really having to kind of do the work of making new connections and having those like those conversations, that's been very challenging for me, but I know that it's what I need to do to grow and be successful. And so I'm really trying to lean into that. But there was a moment there where I like was kind of like, like I was like, this is awesome. And then I was like, oh God, this is so hard. And I did, like, to be totally honest, like went through this sort of slump of like, I can't, like, I don't know if I can do this. And then I was like, no, like, this is what, like, this is, they're laying out the map, they're laying out the tools to grow. I have to put myself out there and I have to continue to challenge myself. So like, so now it's still very challenging, especially like I'm really, I'm working hard on the making new connections, but that one is I'm so outside of my comfort zone with that. And Joan, your post today in the group was so amazing. That was such a help. So if you guys haven't seen that post in the Watch Me crew, definitely check that out. That was really helpful just to see how, again, you're doing that. And yeah, so I minimum 5 a day, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly where and when to make that happen. But I just sort of work around right now my schedule, my son's schedule. I'm home. I have a 5-year-old son, and I am like kindergarten mama right now. So work around his schedule, work around my husband's schedule. It's a bit exhausting, but you know, so I want to try to nail down like the chunks that really work and automate systems. I'm not there yet, but when I am, I will let you know how that goes. That's me right now though.
I want to touch on the piece of Joan's video earlier, because I did have this written down that I wanted to touch on. I went through, and I feel like maybe it's because my downline isn't doing it, but I went through and I watched every single video that Joan had posted, like, get started here. This is what you need to do. These are the steps you need to take. Those are so helpful. And I do have an hour drive to and from work every day. And that's like, I would dedicate my drive to listening. Like I would just have it Bluetooth in my car and I would just listen and be like, okay, this is what I need to do. This makes sense. And also like today, like I said, I'm working on using social. I'm trying to make connections. I'm trying to find new people to add on Facebook. It's because of Joan's video. Like I wouldn't know necessarily like, I'm like, my suggested friends are all of my coaches, like my fellow coaches' friends. Like, how do I find these new people? So that was super, super helpful. And also, like, you can learn from anyone, literally anyone. You can learn from your downline. You can learn from, you know, like I said, Paul is the one that sent me the visuals that really helped me. Pick up on anything, watch what you can, read what you can, and you will find the steps that work for you, because it does, like, it depends on who you are as a person. Like, you can't take all of everything that I did and apply it to your situation. It's not necessarily going to work because you are not me. You have to do what's right for you.
I love that comment about just like using your drive for listening to PD. I even, you guys, I know it sounds silly, but sometimes I rewatch trainings that I did. And I'm like, oh, she's smart. I should listen to her. And I'm like, I feel like I forgot to coach, but she knew what she was doing. And then I realized that, we all feel like that at times. And so, like, that was something I did in the beginning. I listened to the national wake up calls religiously. I was on every single team call, whether I was running it or somebody else on the team was running it, didn't matter. It was like if somebody else was running a training on one of the champions pages or something like that, like PD constantly, because our brains are literally like trained to look for the negative. They're trained to start being fearful. They're trained to do all that. And so we have to train them the other way. And like the second you start feeling good in this business, and the second you start feeling like, I got this, I know what I'm doing, you push yourself away from those things, you stop practicing those things, I can guarantee you all of a sudden the fear is going to creep in again. You're going to be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to coach. I can't attract anybody to my team, like all of this stuff. And you start having that shit talk again. So it's so important. And you are all doing things every single day where you can carve out time. So Tara, I like what you just said there, because if you're taking a shower, listen to PD. If you are vacuuming your house, put in an AirPod and like listen to something while you're vacuuming. There's been times where I've literally blasted PD in my ears while I'm doing my workout. Like there is always time for it. While you're driving in the car, instead of the radio, put on the good stuff, right? And if you have kids in the car, awesome. You know what's going to happen? They're going to start picking that up at a really, really freaking young age. So good for you. You're training your kids early, right? Like those of you who have that why. So there's no excuses. You can always get it in. You can always listen to it and like plug it in your head, like before you go to bed at night too, right? Like I love to shut the TV off and read a little something positive before I go to sleep, because it's going to help immensely. And it can be anybody who helps you. So I loved that point, Tara. Thank you. What else we got? Did other people drop comments or questions in here? You guys can also just unmute yourselves. Like we're just a small little team right here. We can just talk. This is where I just be quiet because I feel like other people will just start talking.
All right, what's everybody's favorite PD book? All right, Marissa, you go first. And we'll go Molly, and then Paula and Terry.
I'm such a holler back girl. I love Fear is My Homeboy is definitely like my favorite so far. Digging into High Performance Habits with Brennan Bouchard, which it's very good. It's super dense though, and it's like workbooky. So so that one I'm kind of paused on. But I've been listening to a lot of podcasts too, because I'm finding listening is a little easier for me. I do it in the morning. And I really love Keisha Fitzgerald. She's just like, she gives you like these little power talks. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent, but Judy Hollerman, she's my fave.
I'm going to say the same one, but the one I'm working on now is You're a Badass. So I'm in the middle of it, but Fear is My Homeboy, I would agree, is the best so far. I keep going back to that one and have sadly loaned it out to someone who I thought would be a builder who maybe won't, but it helped me. It's helping her in other areas of her life. So that's good.
I am not much of a reader at all. I have a book that I started, but I just got to the intro. But like I said, I work in a salon. So in between clients or while clients are processing, I will scroll Pinterest and I find things that are relatable to the business, to personal life, to friendships, to literally everything. And sometimes I'll post them, but sometimes I'll be like, I might be passive aggressive, but I'll think on it and I'll think of a way to turn it into a real life conversation that I could have.
So I really enjoyed the 10X book. That one really like changed my way of thinking. And right now I'm listening to You're a Badass, which that one I'm like chapter 6 right now. So that one's good. I do listen to a lot of podcasts. That's one of my favorite things to do is just listen like while I'm cleaning or driving to work or even just drinking my morning Energize, getting ready for my workout.
Yeah, you guys, I also know like Becky Brissett will tell you that like in the morning she literally will just go to YouTube and she'll just like search inspiration or whatever, and she'll just pump herself with like a 5-minute little motivational video, right? Like, so it's definitely whatever works for you. I guess this is my question that I'll put out there because I know that I feel like everybody thinks that there's a secret. Like everybody feels like there's something you did that you're not telling them that you did, or, a specific way of something. And so I know the question is like, all right, well, but who did you talk to? And like, what exactly did you say? And like, how did you find them? And like, so we know that there's not any secrets. We know that it's you put in the work consistently and you just were coachable. But if you had to tell anybody like one detail or one specific thing that you do that you think has made a major difference for you, or even just like map out like exactly what you do during the day so that somebody can like copy that, then that would be cool.
So first thing I did, what that's really been helpful is I've started a morning routine, and that I've been getting up at 5 a.m. and I've been listening to personal development every morning, drinking coffee. I've got I'm total this is Judy Holler right here too. This action goal focus planner has been really helpful. So it breaks it down into this is a 3-month chunk. And so just being very like trying to be really systemized and efficient and organized. It's not my strength. So I'm really working it, and it helps you break down your month, your week, 3 months, your month, your week, and then your day. And I'm manifesting organization right now. I'm still not there, but I'm like, I'm getting there, baby steps. Then we go and we work out with our group. So we have a morning Zoom where we meet with our group, whoever wants to meet. We have an open Zoom link so people can jump on at any point in time. And then after that, I try to get right into BOD, our BOD group, and respond to everybody, do my personal posts, trying to automate like the content posty things, but haven't really gotten there. I'm still kind of more on the fly by the seat of my pants, what is hitting me in the moment. And then I try to post to social on my stories at least. And then I get myself ready and like kind of get into mom mode. And in between mom mode, I'm trying to like do the bat basically. Like, so jump in and do some invitations, jump in and do some quick follow-ups, jump in and find my new people, definitely making time for all of the team calls. Two pieces that were really, really helpful for me when I started, two things that like kind of these mantras that I heard on a couple of calls. One was, it's only hard when you're thinking about it. And that was such a huge, I was like, that's such a big piece of who I am. I tend to be, the inertia to get going is really hard for me. And it's when it's really hard. I'm like, oh, I can't believe I have to do that. Like, oh God, like so difficult when it takes me like 5 minutes. But the other piece is like the energy that I really want to bring good energy to this when I'm doing it. So like, it's that balance of, okay, like trying to kind of develop these systems to keep my energy consistent so that I can be positive and on point and be connecting with people in a way that I want to connect with them and not feel like, oh God, I've got to get those people. And then it's like this forced, like yucky feeling that I'm conveying to people. So recently I've just been kind of also thinking, I want to help one person today. Like, that's the other thing. I'm like, I just want to help one person today. Like, that's my goal. And that's driving like everything else that I'm doing in a really positive and more fulfilling and not as stressful way. Like I'm still trying to be very consistent and get all the work done, but be conscious of my energy, be consistent with what I'm doing, realize that it's really only hard when I'm thinking about it. But if I need to take a break, go and do what I need to do, and then just see if I can help one person. And so it's kind of where I'm at right now.
I think also like going back to watching all of the videos and going from there, you like make a plan of how you're going to make this work. Like I said, I listen to things on my way to work. I'm also having the conversations throughout the day. I also know that like, okay, my daughter takes at least a 1 hour nap. That's an hour. Like today I watched Joan's video that she posted today. So like, I know I have these little itty bitty increments of time that I can make into a lot of time by the end of the day. Like I can lay my daughter down, but when I couldn't, I mean, Joan has witnessed it. Like I sat in her doorway in the dark and just did power hour while she tried to fall asleep. You find a way to make it work if you really want it to work. And also like personally, if I say it out loud or if I put it in writing, I have to do it. You will not prove me wrong. I will do it. Watch me.
I'm going with Tara's a 3 on the Enneagram.
Well, what? I couldn't hear that.
I said I'm going with Tara as a 3 on the Enneagram.
I don't know. I missed that one.
I want you to take the test and then tell me. Molly, you wanna?
Yeah. So I think at the bare minimum, I go back to the bat, right? So the basics, and then I think, I'm not sure who shared this, but it's the income producing activities have to go first, because the fun stuff like personal development and the workout, like those are fun for me. That's what I enjoy. And I like sharing about those on social media, but no amount of posts and personal development is going to actually get those invites done. So to get those invites done when I power hour, that's what I prioritize those first. And to make it easier for myself, I keep a Google Doc or notes on my phone. You all have talked about this, but I just keep a quick invite in there and the follow-up. So if I'm inviting, I'm sending those out all at the same time. It's a copy paste situation, but I do personalize them for the person. And I think when thinking about people, I group them too. So if I know that I've got my work friends or my college friends, I let them know, so-and-so from work is in the group, and it'd be so fun if you join us, because then there's a little bit more FOMO there too. Like we're doing this together and you could do it with us. We used to work out at the gym. And so kind of inviting them, but also name dropping a little bit in the, like, we're doing this together and you should come and do this with us. So those are a couple little things, but I do think it is prioritizing in the short bursts of time. I have my full-time job, but I honestly do a lot of this during my work day, probably too much, which is why I do have to block off time in my 5 and Thrive planner to do my Beachbody stuff during the workday, even though my boss probably wouldn't like that. But it's for me, it lights me up. I love it. And I want to keep growing this. So I focus on that first, getting that stuff done. Then I get to do, that's like my reward is the personal development and things like that can be my inspiration for my posts later on. So I think in terms of tracking, nothing fancy. Sometimes I use an Excel spreadsheet to like list out everybody. Sometimes it's a notebook. Like literally you see me writing in this notebook. This has become my sort of coaching notebook now, where I've got my people, their goals, like what we're working on. The next time I might need to follow up on them. So I literally just have a page for every person in our challenge group. And it's not fancy. I'm not paying for anything extra. I'm literally using Google Docs for my invites and any information I need to dump in there for Marissa questions or Meg questions later on. Excel spreadsheets to track who I'm inviting and maybe what they said. And if it's for later, like when to follow up with them. So those were some of the things, because I'm a list maker and I kind of need to have a structure. Otherwise it's just paper and it's kind of a mess for me.
Go ahead, Paula.
I think just being consistent has been the best thing for me, doing the tracker every day, sharing, following up. just being yourself. Those are the biggest things that have been successful for me.
Yeah.
Sorry, my house is chaotic here.
That's okay. I love it because it shows life. Shows that you can build this business while the chaos is happening. Like one of the things that I will point out with Molly, what you said there is Holly Hillier actually does a little bit of what you just said, where she will friend somebody and then she goes and like friends their friends, and she might not even know their friends, but then when she's talking to them, she tells them that, oh, I'm talking to so and so too, and they're gonna get in the group as well. So she's literally like building FOMO, and they haven't even signed up yet, and then they sign up together because she's like, oh my god, it's gonna be awesome, it's like a high school reunion, and like meanwhile none of them have actually said yes to her yet, but then they start saying yes. So I love that, like sort of like the name drop thing. And then Paula, I will just point out for you and Tara, and I don't know if there's this with you and Molly, with you and Marissa at all either, but there's like the competitive side of it, right? Like, I'm not gonna let you freaking go diamond before I go diamond and that sort of thing. So like also think about maybe there's someone on your team that you're seeing get like some recognition, like, right? Like maybe you're seeing them on the board every month and they're right there with you and you're like, what the hell, I'm going to beat that lady. Like if that's what it takes for you to get there, then do it. Cause I know that was a driver when, you know, Meg went diamond the first time. She was in competition with another coach on our team. So like recognize those pieces of you too, so that you can share that with your coach, and then maybe they can like tag you with somebody else, but also recognize that in your people, right? So like when you're trying to go diamond, you need to help people go emerald. So see if there's people on your team that would benefit from being like tagged together like that and doing something of that nature. Last question, and then we'll jump off because it's been 45 minutes and I don't want to sit here forever, especially with the time change. I know everybody's like, so, you liked that? You guys like that impression? It was good, right? So I want to ask this. How does it feel being diamond? Because I'm just going to put it out there for anybody who's not diamond right now. Diamond does not mean a huge income increase. Diamond is not the end point. Diamond is your stepping stone to start growing your business. But I do believe that there is a shift with it. So can you guys just tell us that? And then maybe your next goal too, because we all want to root you on.
I think it feels pretty cool to hear your name said on the National Wake Up Call. I also think it's pretty cool when you earn things from Beachbody. They just send you stuff. Well, that's for making Success Club, right? Or getting customers is also cool. Customer leads. So it is cool. The income, like I can't quit my day job yet as a diamond coach. But it did give me that, it lit that fire in me that now my goal is bigger. Cause at first, you know, I kind of set my sights at that. It's like going diamond. That sounds so epic. So now I have a bigger goal, which is exciting.
I do think they send you something for going diamond, don't they? Or did they stop doing that?
I haven't gotten anything.
Well,
You
shit.
get a shirt.
Yeah, you get like a t-shirt or some
Oh.
shit.
Check your email, Tara.
Yay. Yeah, I like free things. I'm cheap. Like back to like I'm relatable. That's what I tell people. They're like, oh, it's so expensive. I'm like, believe me, I'm pissed this shit works. Like I don't want to spend the money, but it works. I think for me, like now I'm like, I could possibly like set some goals financially as to what I want now. Like I'm using Zoom on my phone because my computer is 11 years old and it is not capable of using Zoom. So that's like my first purchase. We want a different house. So I'm working towards a down payment. Like I literally, like I have a list that I write down every week of things that I want to check off because of my Beachbody income. And last month I was so damn close to $1,000 and it was my first month.
I'm sorry, but that's badass. That's so good. I can't wait till you like flip through that book like a year from now and you're like, holy shit, I did those things. I mean, there's power in writing down your why, your vision, and looking at that every day.
Yes.
Yeah, it definitely makes me feel more serious and committed and excited. And even though it still feels like it's moving really fast, and I'm okay, I'm starting to catch up here. Like I'm
Well,
starting.
let's be clear here. She's not even just diamond. She's 1 star in like a minute.
Molly bestie. I mean, like Yes. So if you can do your 2+2 and get your sister to go diamond with you, you are going to be 1-star in a minute. But yeah, it's exciting. It makes it feel serious. It makes it feel real. And I'm definitely motivated to keep going and growing and looking to try to find and create builders now, not just my sister best friend who will do anything with me. Yeah. We like to high five on Zoom. We never get it right.
It's definitely a feel good feeling for sure. I mean, I've been in different direct sale things, MLM companies before. I've never grown a business, and I'm growing a business here. This, because it's just, it clicks with me. This is what I like to do. So it's nice to have like a new title to show like I'm serious. This is what I'm doing, and here's where I'm going. So I want to go 1-star by summer. Putting it out there. That's my goal.
Love it. I think it's awesome, you guys. Thank you so much for sharing everything. I'm just going to look through real quick just to make sure we didn't miss anything. Yeah. Kaylin said she felt like a badass leader when she hit diamond because it gave her a huge confidence boost. And I think it does, you guys. All of a sudden, you kind of like share a little bit differently. Your conversations are a little bit different. You're like, well, I'm doing this. I'm a freaking diamond in this business. Like, if I can do it, you can do it. And then you know how to go diamond because you just did it yourself. So now you know how to teach somebody else to go diamond. And that's when this gets really freaking fun, is when you're cracking diamonds underneath you. You guys, you killed it, crushed it. First call for all of you. Nice job. Boom. I see a lot more calls in your future. It is fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying like your workouts and your PD are like your fun part, your reward. Mine is like literally like creating team trainings or like creating like training videos and things like that. I have to pull myself away because I will do it for like ever. And I'm like, okay, or making basketball brackets.
So good at it, though. Keep doing it, please, because it's what gets us here.
Yeah.
You guys rock. I'm so super proud of every single one of you. Diamond is right there if you're not there yet, you guys. And for those that are, 2-star. 2-star is your next goal. Get there, because then you get to sign you back up and you're the best coach on your team. So you want multiple of you, multiple Marissas, multiple Mollys, multiple Taras.
I want to sign Molly back up on my team. That's
Well, you will when Molly signs herself back up again. She will also go on your team. So.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, she's going to be PS of Molly this time, but yes. So funny. All right, guys, I will see you in the Watch Me group. I'll see you in the team page. Enjoy the rest of your night. Go crush it. If you haven't done your 5 before you go to bed, do it.